All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, everybody. My name is Darius Unchauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. And we are just a few minutes away from the release of the NFP. So I thought I'm going to do this. Well, it's not going to come out live, but I'm going to do this live coverage of the NFP figures. So yes, let's have a look what's happening right now. So basically, let me just refresh the page. We're going to be having the numbers in a few moments. So at the moment, the latest forecast is to have a 135K number against the 151. But what I said today in one of my webinars, that in my live webinar, that basically even if it comes out, let's say somewhere close to the 135K number, that's fine. But I want to see what's going to happen here with the revision of the previous figure. If there will be a huge change, and especially if it's going to be a huge change to the downside. So it doesn't matter then if the number comes out like much higher or something like than the previous revision, because again, if it still remains somewhere above around the 135K, then I mean, the market could still see this as a little bit of a negative thing, because let's not forget that we're watching this as well, because at this point the Federal Reserve is kind of pricing in. Look at this, how this morning it was still at 69%, now it's dropping. So the May interest rate decision, initially we had almost 90% that there's going to be no cuts, but now look how quickly it is shifting. So if the NFP comes out also on the lower side, we could see this one shifting even higher. The idea of having a cut in May could be a little bit more realistic, because so far the expectation was to have a cut in June. But now looking at this picture, it seems like after all these tariffs that took in, jumped in, or let's say, what's the word for that? When all the kicked in, there we go. And this number started increasing, having two cuts before June. I mean, wow. So look, ladies and gentlemen, in general, by the end of this year, we're currently forecasting 4 rate cuts. And like I said, if the NFP numbers are not really something that will help out here, the stock market, then obviously we'll have a few little issues. Let's have a look what's happening with the charts here. I have 3 charts in front of me. So the dollar index, the gold, and S&P 500. All of these are the S&P is cash. So basically, let me just see what's going to happen here. I have the daily charts in front of me here. So you know what? Let's maybe I'll keep the daily charts in here. Maybe actually I'll jump into 4-hour. Let's see. Maybe to see how we will shift here. But you know what? No, I think the daily chart is a little bit better here to see the overall effect. Looking at the dollar index has to be somewhere here. So let's see what's going to happen with the dollar right now in a few seconds. And there we go. We are seeing some positivity kicking in. Gold is dropping. The S&P is fluctuating around. By the way, I'll remind everybody that this is the daily chart. On all 3 are daily charts, and here we're seeing a little bit of action here to the end. Oh, look at this. NFP came out at 228K. Wow, this is spectacular. If I don't know if there's going to be any change here. Let me just double check. Okay, we need to give it a little bit of time here for the Fed Watch tool to update. But let's see what's happening. 228K higher, revision of the previous number. There we go. That's what I was talking about. 151 was previously, we revised it to the downside. Despite good number, now the market is a little bit on the mixed side. They don't know what to do. But and this is where the issue arises, because again, yes, great, more jobs here created, but the thing is that the previous figure got revised to 117K. Right, let's have a look what's happening with the average hourly earnings. So 3.8, a drop in the average earnings. Canadian numbers as well, dropped 3.5 against the previous 4%. Ooh, okay, let's have a look what's happening with the unemployment rate. USA 4.2 higher, and the and Canada 6.7 higher. So yes, Canadian numbers are in line with expectations. The US unemployment number jumped. So okay, this is going to be quite interesting. And to be honest, now at this point, I'm really, really interested how this number will get revised during the next reading that we'll have in next month. So of course, we'll have to still live through that, through all this trading and all this madness that is happening right now in the stock market. But hey, looking at this, there is a little bit of positivity kicking in right now. So what can I say? The dollar is strengthening. We can see gold is dropping, and everything is in line, kind of, with the idea here of pointing more towards the downside. However, let's give a little bit of time. Right now, the initial reaction is this. Maybe the US dollar actually will kind of, the market will, take in all the numbers and everything, but overall, we understand only this number kind of looks on the better side. So only the NFP looks like, okay, great improvement, but it's like almost double, or actually, it's almost double than the forecast. So, and it's double than the previous now, become almost double than the previous. But then unemployment has risen, average hourly earnings are on the downside. In general, not everything is that good. So that's what I'm saying. So it still kind of keeps the Fed on this, I wouldn't say on the edge. Well, yeah, maybe on the edge. Where, look at this. I mean, now the probability is dropping for having only of having actually no cut, having no cut in May. The probability for having one cut is slowly grinding to the upside, and I don't think that this is going to play out positively for the U.S. dollar. So keep your eyes on it, because if this continues to accelerate here, if we actually level out eventually to 50-50, the US dollar might not really take it very nicely, and we could see the bears still in control here on the US dollar, and we could start drifting maybe towards areas. Let me just jump in maybe into a weekly chart here, driving towards areas around here, somewhere closer to 100. And I'm not excluding that possibility. I said this in my morning webinar today, that for the US dollar, I am kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside, especially after this break, because again, the tariffs, yes, tariffs are we have to deal with those right now here, and but it's not really helping the U.S. economy, in my opinion. Again, short term, maybe long term. If companies start coming into the U.S., maybe then yes, it will help. But if their companies are not coming into the U.S., I really doubt that this is going to be something good out of all this. And right now, we can see that the US dollar is trying to battle here and trying to fight back and trying to push up again. But again, we're really struggling. So as you can see yourselves, the higher NFP number is good, but in the picture of all other stuff which is happening, I think that's not enough. I think the higher NFP number is not enough, and I'll continue sticking to the downside. And like I said, this number here keeps on increasing. So yeah, this number for the probability for having a rate cut in May is increasing, and that's not really good for the US dollar. So hey, we'll see how that plays out. Of course, for now, I think that the market will start kind of considering that, hey, there is a good possibility that the US dollar could drift lower, meaning that this could help other currencies like the euro, for example. Let me just jump into the euro USD, like the euro, to continue pushing higher. So at the moment, I mean, after yesterday's rally here, wow, fantastic move here on the euro USD. We're currently balancing slightly above that psychological 110 zone. So if we continue to trade above that 110, I think that yes, there is a good chance for euro USD to drift further north. Gold is drifting to the downside because, again, I talked about this before, and I said that a lot of countries will most likely be selling gold again because they will need the money to finance to throw into the economy. And yep, selling a little bit of gold at all-time highs. I think that's not a bad idea. So yeah, and that's why, like I said, we're increasing supply of gold back into the economy, or dropping more gold back into the economy, throwing it in there, and we're seeing a little bit of a decline here on gold. Yesterday's heavy drop, of course, proved that it's easy for gold to go back down again. And today we're seeing a little bit of negativity. So hey, let's see how much more can we go down, and of course, let's see how we will finish off this week. At the moment, looking at this picture on the weekly chart here on gold, we can see that the weekly candle is forming something of a shooting star. And according to all the TA rules, technical analysis rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. So, ladies and gentlemen, break to the reverse. Basically, it means that it's a reversal signal. So, again, will that be the case? We'll see. But my preference for the downside on gold is to wait for a drop. Where's that? Come on, there we go. Is to drop back below the 3,057 territory, which up until March 27 was the all-time high, but then we cleared it on March 27th, and yesterday this area provided a good area of support. So let's see how all this is going to play out, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found this useful. I just wanted to quickly cover the NFPs live as they came out, and let me know, what do you think will happen with the US dollar going forward, or at least in the near term? And we'll go from there. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you later. As always, stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only, which can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.